Hi, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Soul Goals. My name is Dawn. I am so glad to be speaking to a great, dear old friend of mine that I met initially when I started teaching at Hot Yoga in Nashville. It was one of the students there, and he was a gem of a student. Like, I swear, Gunny, everybody in class, like, you were the highlight of class. You were the one that came in with a smile on your face, patting everybody on the back, encouraging everybody. You're a light, and you still are a light. And I am so glad that you have agreed to come on and give us a little bit of your time today and talk about the world you came from as a U.S. Marine. You're a retired gunnery sergeant with the U.S. Marines,
Right.
and I think it's interesting because before we hit the record, we were talking a little bit about your background and where you came from. Your dad was a lifelong military. He was in the Air Force. Is that what
It
you
was
said?
all, it was the Air Force, but he was actually he went into the military in 1928, Miss Dawn, when it was the
Wow.
Army Air Corps. Okay,
Okay.
and
That's
through
way before the Air Force like started
oh
up.
yeah, that's correct. And then it became after World War II. Then it became the Air Force, and he converted
Got
and
it.
spent 30 years in the Air Force and uh, had was a world traveler. He was actually one of those late bloomers that went into the military. He was 26 when he went in, which at
Oh,
that time, kind of wonder, okay, it's kind of old, but
yeah,
he was born in 1902,
which is
and
crazy.
for whatever reason he decided to join the military. I don't know.
Yeah.
Back
Well,
then,
it's interesting. Yeah, because you joined the military at a very young age,
yes, I
and
did.
you actually, dropped out of high school to join the military is
Yes,
what
I
I
did.
understand.
1972. Well, at that time and age, of course, I grew up in Nashville. I'm a
Yeah.
Nashville. And of course, I'm transplanted here to Greenville, South Carolina, because my daughter was past 2.5 years. But
Yes.
that's neither here. But uh, growing up in Nashville, uh, I grew up in East Nashville for the first half of my life. They're on Woodland Street and also on Russell Street. Went to
Wow.
Warren Elementary,
Okay.
uh, and I said my it was. It's a great area to grow up in Nashville, which was much different. I can remember
Yes.
Woodland Street. They had bricks and there was rails where they used to have the
Oh,
streetcars.
okay.
They
What
didn't have
year was
streetcars.
that?
They were on
That
Woodland Street.
what year was that though in the
It was 19. Well, I probably I got there in 50, probably 57,
Okay.
56, 57.
Yeah.
But I can remember at early age 5 or 6, looking out the street, seeing the bricks on the
Yeah.
street and the rails that they weren't using anymore.
Okay.
But and I can remember going downtown or seeing the rails from be years before.
Yeah.
It had uh, you know, I can remember seeing downtown. The biggest building was the Life and Casualty building. You
Oh
know,
gosh, yes. My
yeah. So we could
father-in-law
see it.
used to talk about that. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
that was
for
big.
sure.
Of course, Nashville's train. I mean, it
Right,
is
right.
quite
Well,
a
Gunny, coming from Nashville, I mean, after you joined the military, which we'll get into that whole story about how that transpired, but you've traveled the world. You have seen everything. I think you're one of the most honorable people that I've ever met, and I don't know that that necessarily was dictated by you being in the military. It may have fostered that a little bit more with you, but I will tell you from what I know about you in your past that that started in your DNA because your family is a very formidable family. The fact that your dad was a lifelong military individual and devoted his life to serve the country and serve all of us, and that you followed in your footsteps, in his footsteps. Your son is also following, or he did follow in your footsteps
yeah.
as
He did.
well.
That's
Yeah.
correct.
I think though it will be interesting for people to know that your mother passed away when you were only 3 months old.
That is correct. Yeah.
Yeah, and then your
And it
dad
was
passed
a
away. Well, your dad passed away when you were 14 years old. So
that is correct.
there's a lot of life in there with struggle. But again, I think knowing you and what you said also earlier before we hit the record, and again, you would say probably 25 years ago. It's all about choice. It's
It is
all
about
about
it.
choice.
But you never, as can I will back up to my, I was born in '55, and of course back
Yeah.
in that era, a lot of things of today are taken granted. People can get treated. But my mom was 45 years old when I was born. So at that time there, I was kind of I was a surprise. I'm certain when they found out that she
Yeah,
was
well, if she
that
was
she would have a
45,
baby.
yeah, because nowadays, that's not an unusual
No,
age for people to have babies, but in the 50s, that's a big deal.
yeah, big deal. And my dad was 53. Okay, and my mom had
Golly.
grown up in Nashville as well. She come from a very prominent family
Mhm.
in the Nashville area. Went to graduated from Hume Fogg High School, and then went on to Ward Belmont College when it was an all girls school. A lot of people may
Okay.
not realize that,
I
but
did so I didn't know that until you talked about that.
it was all girls because she was a music major. And she played the piano and taught my
Mhm.
sister piano. And most people on her side of the family were played piano. Piano
Yeah,
was you learn, but I guess is for the prominent families out. Everybody learned how to play the piano. But
yeah.
3 months after I was born, my mother had passed away, and she
Mhm,
died from suicide because of
mhm.
postpartum depression.
Wow.
A lot of, I mean, it was very prevalent back in then. It was, like it is today, but now they have treatments. It's not, people are not afraid, hey, I'm feeling kind of blues and so forth. But
Yeah.
back then, people didn't talk about it. And
It's
so,
so di yes, so different because I think interestingly enough, if we talk about postpartum depression and how that affects young mothers, older mothers, second-time mothers, first-time mothers, anybody,
mhm.
those hormones are so crazy, and it really can do numbers on you. And then if you have any other triggers in your life that have
well,
happened to you along the way, it's
well,
just
as I tell you, I said, I didn't know about my mom, but I had a good dad, you know,
yeah.
and I had a sister who, at the young age of 9, that took up the reins and became, learned how to be a mom at 9 years old. I mean,
Wow.
true story. And then
Wow.
I had many different caretakers that came into my life.
Yeah.
Because my dad, I was born in Tampa, Florida. Then with with my mom passing away, okay, they transferred him to Seward Air Force Base,
Mhm.
right outside of Nashville, which is, of course, Smyrna area.
Right,
And
right.
because that was a major base during World War II and Korea and during Vietnam.
Mhm.
So he got transferred there, and he retired in 1958 there, and drove a taxi the rest of his life for National, Yellow Cab
Oh,
and Checker Cab Company. So I
how
tell people,
fun.
listen, so I can remember getting up early in the mornings with him. I still get up early now,
Yeah.
but due to him, because he would get up around 4, 5 o'clock, and we go downtown to the taxi cab. He'd get his taxi, and I'd ride with him to his first fares. I remember pushing the thing. He pushed the thing over. I'd be
Oh,
sitting up in the front, and other fares, he'd be talking. They all knew him, and
okay.
he smoked them, and they called him Sarge. Kind of
They
people
called him
call me
Sarge?
Gunny. Yeah, they call him Sarge. So,
Sarge the taxi driver.
yeah, the taxi driver says, "Oh, goodness gracious!"
I
So,
love that.
uh, and so I met a lot of people, and I can remember because back then, it was a radio. They would call in, and you had to
Mhm.
know where the streets were. And go
Yeah,
go 938 Woodland Street, or kind of make up a number. So, okay, and
yeah.
you had to know where to go to pick them up, and he had regular fares. And then he would when I became uh, then I would either go to a caretaker early on, but later on when uh, one of the caretakers I was mentioning for that I had that had a big influence on me was a lady that probably took care of me from the age of 5 till around 9 or 10. It was in my life even up until my dad had passed away.
Yeah.
But she would take me down. We would go down. We would ride the bus and go downtown Nashville. Right,
Okay.
put a nickel in, go downtown, and we would go to one of the movie centers that they had downtown. Had Nashville had there was 4 different movie theaters.
Mhm.
Had 3 on Church Street, the Paramount, Lowe's, and the Crescent, and then on Church Street. I mean on Fourth Avenue, there was the Knickerbocker. So they
Okay.
had 4 major movies because that's where people went for entertainment. They went
Right.
downtown for entertainment, went shopping. There were no
That's what you
malls.
did.
Oh,
So
so
different. And
yeah,
now
so
thinking back, like, to the taxi driving, like now we've got Ubers and all the
Oh,
things
yes.
with like the telephones
Yes, we do.
and the Waze and the Google Maps and
Well,
everything that we
I don't know if I ever told you, but there for a while, I guess from 2015 to 20 for about 3 years, I drove Uber part-time in Nashville.
You did not.
Yeah, I did.
I didn't
I
know
got
that.
bored. Because I was self-employed working and I had a company in Nashville, but I was around 2016, I guess it was, I was burnt out.
Yeah.
Just, I mean, because I'm a stockbroker, that's what I do, right? I mean, I'm
Okay.
sitting there, I got three monitors. There's no one, I'm just sitting there on the phone or talking to people. I
Yeah.
was burned out. And I
Yeah.
had a buddy of mine say, Gunny, you need to get out of this office.
Yes.
I said, I mean, because I had, well, I was going to close it down. I
Okay.
just, hey, but he said, no, he said, you have to, he said, go drive Uber. So
Yeah.
what? Yeah,
Yeah.
he said, you get this phone, you turn it on when you want to go out.
Yeah.
Well, and so I did.
Okay.
I did. I'd go out on Friday evening. I go Friday afternoon or Saturday or
Yeah.
Sunday, and and I would drive to around 9. I met a
Okay.
lot of different. Had fun. Got over 600, and I would drive them in my BMW. They thought they were getting. Did I order
I was gonna
this?
say, yeah, when you pull up with a nice car, they probably
Oh, I
thought,
did. I had a 535
"Ah,
GT, nice leather. Did I order this? I said no. I'd always tell them, "Oh, this is your lucky day. You get to
you get a
go in an
lucky
Uber
day."
and Gunny in his BMW. It's
Well,
got a
let's
big.
just talk though, because Gunny in his BMW was not always Gunny in his BMW.
No, and I tell people about. I tell people go to Hot Yoga Plus. Tell them what places to go to. I knew where to go to.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
if they want to do things, so. But anyway, uh, it kind of went quite a far ahead. But one of the ladies that it was instrumental in bringing me up, that was influential. I mean, she
Mhm.
always, back then, you gotta say, your manners,
Right?
yes,
That was a
ma'am,
big
no,
deal?
ma'am.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, and my dad as well, but you didn't talk to the ladies without saying yes, ma'am, no, ma'am, yes, sir,
Yes.
no, sir. I mean, it was pretty strict. So,
Right.
but uh, at an early age, I mean, like I said, I didn't have a mom. I had a neighborhood of moms that
Mm.
pitched in, neighbors, hey, I watch you, whatever. My sister,
Right.
and as I said, it's not uh, everybody is dealt with whatever you get when you're born. This
Mhm.
is it. You have
Yeah.
people that are born poor, born rich, uh, and we're not born equal. Equal.
Yeah.
And depends on where we get to at the end of our life, you could say. Well,
Yeah.
it depends on our choices. And I've
Mhm.
often told a lot of my friends, especially a lot of my military buddies, so I said, you know what, you take your children, and you as you do the very best you can. From
Yes.
prominent, you try to raise them right. It's kind of like polishing an arrow. You're
Right.
polishing it down. You're making it sharp and making everything just so that one day you're going to put in that bowl, pull it, and you're going to let it go.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
which way the wind blows, and I use that as a friend because you don't know which one. And the other side, going, I tell people, you can raise your kid up to a certain point,
Mhm.
and where they get the choice to make to whether they can turn either left or right at Main Street,
Mhm.
and there's nothing you can do,
Right.
nothing. Nothing you just gotta hope that if they turn left, okay, that maybe somewhere along maybe they're wise. Oh, I think they told me about that, and I need to
Yeah.
go back right. But it's the choices that people make depends on where they're going to go to or how successful they want to be or whatever. And parents, I've got friends who were very proud of people who sent their kids to private schools. They
Right.
went to church, they did all the right things, but they got out and they turned left at Main
Yeah.
Street.
Yeah.
Uh, so, but someone turned back, and you just got to hope. Well, and so I had a lot of different influences in my life, and at an early age again. I mean, at 11 years old, Donna, I moved to South Nashville, down by the
Okay.
fairgrounds, uh, and I started pushing a lawnmower around the neighborhood, cutting grass for $2.
See, and I just wanna pause for a second because at 11 years old, you're working
Yeah,
and going to school. and you don't have a mother, like, because your
No.
mother had passed away, and your dad is working.
Oh yeah.
So
Well.
there could you talk about choice and turning
Oh
left
yeah.
or right at Main Street?
Well, this I think I told you, before we moved to South Nashville, when I was 8 and 9 years old, we lived at the corner of Fourth and Russell, which is
Mhm.
about four blocks or so down from Warner School. And I was right across the, and of course you got East Park right there in front of it.
Yeah.
And I would get out of school and I'd walk down the 4 blocks and I had a skeleton key. Okay. Things you
Yeah.
pick up at the hardware store,
Yes.
for I
Yes.
go in there and I'd unlock the door. Okay. I go into the to the freezer. I pull out a chicken pot pie. I take a fork out and stab the holes in the top. I turn the gas stove on to 425 to preheat, put that uh, chicken pot pie in the oven for 25 minutes, pulled out, and that was my snack before my dad come pick me up.
And
I
you
was
were
eight,
how old? Remind me again?
8 and 9.
That's craziness because I look at the generation that we're in now and the 8
Oh
and the
yeah,
9-year-olds and things have changed so much,
oh yeah,
so
oh yeah.
much.
Well, then let's say if I didn't go home, I'd go across the pre-rain. I'd go across the street to the gym,
Okay.
to the gym there at East Park, and I play pool. My dad taught me how to play pool so I shoot pool.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
I
Okay.
mean, it was. So I tell people I had a great dad, and we
Yeah.
go. There's some other things we'll kind of get into it, but that was some kind of early age of, that you certainly wouldn't let your 8, 9 year olds just with no cell phone.
No.
We didn't have a
Right.
telephone, so I
Right.
knew how to call telephone, and I knew
Right.
I had neighbors. So
Yeah.
and of course the
I think
neighbors.
I guess what I need to say is that I'm like, I'm not being I try not to be like a this is the way we all should be again kind of thing, but it's
Yeah.
just your circumstances are so different than the way things are now. And given the fact that you didn't have what we're going to call, I'm going to put air quotes up, normal
Yeah,
upbringing, right?
that's
Because
right.
who's to say what normal is, right? Everybody's normal is something different. Just like you said earlier, it's about your choices. But I want to know how did you feel making choices that were let's turn this way instead of this way because it could have gone a completely different way.
Oh, sure. I mean that. You have those other. I think I had such a pretty good upbringing to where or determine what was right or wrong.
Mm, yeah.
Okay, okay, from my dad and
Okay.
the uh, the lady who was up, who was pretty much the lady. Her name was Louise, and
Okay.
of course, and my sister and various other people who would surround them.
Yeah.
Then, of course, now we moved to South Nashville. Now I'm out cutting grass 11, and I get a job that we're four blocks from the fairgrounds, right? And I get a job at the fairground speedway, selling cokes and popcorn, going around me and a couple of my buddies, And but we could get into the races free, so that was a good deal.
There's your incentive.
That was a good incentive. And
Yeah.
then
Yeah.
uh, and then I picked up. Then I started delivering the papers when I was 12. At
Gosh.
and the at that time there was two papers, the Nashville Tennessean and the Nashville Banner, which was the afternoon paper.
Yeah.
And I walked around. I get up 4 o'clock in the morning, go down to there was a trestle on Wedgwood, pick up my papers. Here I'm walking, roll them up, and go walk around the neighborhood 4:30, five
Wow.
o'clock, delivering papers in the morning. And my dad, he'd help me out too. He'd get in the car, take me around, do it. So, but then on Friday nights, I'd go around collecting the money. I had this little change purse. And we get money in on Friday
Wow.
night and Saturday morning. So they probably rob you today. I don't think you can do that now. So,
No, I was gonna say that this is another difference. Wow.
yeah, quite a bit of difference. But I don't look down. I look at it. It was all part of my growing up, having to interact with people. Okay, hey, would you
Ah,
like to take the paper today? No one. You
yeah.
want to get more people on route, and I don't know how much money I made, but I had, you know, if I didn't work at the fair, me and my buddies, we wouldn't have had anything. So
Right.
if you want to have a Coke or candy bar or have money to go to the fairgrounds right down the street. So we wanted to be able to go to the fairgrounds. And that was
Right.
our area.
You had
So
incentive.
yeah, it was an incentive.
Mhm.
So
I
it's
wanna say you have a quote that you always put at the bottom of all your emails, and I wanna read it, and I'm gonna have to look down to read this. "Excellence is the result of caring more than others think is wise, risking more than others think is safe, dreaming more than others think is practical, and expecting more than others think is possible."
correct. Yes.
When did you adopt that? Because, like, again, if I hear you talking about all this, obviously as an 8 or 9-year-old, you're not looking at this quote and going, "Oh, this is my motto for life." But
Correct.
I feel like that quote sums up pretty much you in a nutshell.
Well, that was I got that quote, and I'm gonna show it to you. I'm gonna show it here because I had when I went into business, as I started, I got into business a year after I retired. I retired from the Marine Corps in 93,
Got it.
1993. I joined the Marine Corps in 1972, and we'll go back to those. But
Yes.
I retired in 93, and a year later, I went in. Well, actually, I went into business a year later, and started working out of my home.
Mhm.
And then in 2003, I opened up my first office there in Goodlettsville.
Okay.
Okay, now, and one of my best buddies, he's a retired lieutenant, he's a retired colonel. Rather, he's an F-15 pilot. You see this? It's a
Oh,
picture
it's
of
on a
him.
nice it's
It's
on
got
a
that quote on there, and
Yes.
so he's got his name. So I took that quote, and so I made this. So I can't find who actually said it first.
Yeah.
Okay, but it's been on my wall. It goes on all my offices now. I work out of my house now, so things have
Well,
changed
but isn't it
tremendously.
interesting as you have grown and matured? I'm gonna say grown and matured, not aged, but
Yeah,
grown and matured, right? As that has happened and as you have evolved, that it's almost like a full circle moment. Because as I hear you talking about the things that you chose and the things that you knew you had to do to get what you wanted,
yeah,
that really embodies what that quote is about being as excellent as you can, living from a place of excellence.
and that's I try to when I've often told people when we come to the yoga studio or say like on a Monday or something when I talk to people I'll tell people said how you doing it well I tell well what it's already Monday right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I said, well, Byron, I waited all weekend for it to get here. Well,
Okay.
you get a big
Is
surprise.
Monday your favorite day?
I just well, I see any days because it's an opportunity to excel. So
Yeah.
any day when you get up, Miss Dawn, here's you another regardless of whether it's sunshine or rain or snow out there. There's another opportunity for you to excel, or maybe what I like to when I was member of the Hendersonville Rotary for many years. I was their sergeant of arms for I don't know 10 years so in a row. They wouldn't let English do it, but one of the things that I would comment out every was that I hope that you go out there, as you leave here and think about it and see if you can make a difference in other people's lives or make a
Yeah.
positive impact on
Right.
those you may meet. Or
Right.
another one actually I try to tell them is that go out this week and try to make one new friend a week.
Yeah.
Okay, just one a week. Now you don't have to go to the house one, but if you do that every week, you got 52 new friends.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know,
And
and
it's just about being vulnerable and reaching out and being able to speak to people. Because I think and it's something you said a little bit ago too, is you had to interact with people to get what you wanted.
yeah, you did. You got to be able to, and I don't have a. I like talking with people. If I go to a restaurant or you see the waitress, I always ask them their name. You know,
Yeah.
and talk to them by the name because people like to hear the name, make them feel important. And I
Yes.
appreciate them being here. Or maybe at the when you finish at the restaurant, take that receipt. When you put the tip on there, turn on back and write them a little note how much you thought about it.
Yeah.
Say I really appreciate your time today, and it makes a difference.
Yeah.
I've came back many times. I came back. I found was that one restaurant, and I came back, a month or two later, and the waitress there, and she still had that receipt from my
Oh,
before. She said, "I really appreciate it," and she kept that note.
yeah.
I mean, so it's the little things that you can do to make. I mean, a lot of people work hard and whatever
Mhm.
they're doing as they're, especially working in restaurants. You're working for tips. They're either going to school or part-time moms or single moms. They're doing what they can.
Yeah. And
And
you just don't know what other people's walk
no,
is.
no,
Yeah,
you
like,
don't.
you just don't know.
No, I
Yeah.
have no idea what they're going through or what
Mhm.
their challenges that they're
Right.
going through. We're all given challenges,
Right.
and to see if we can make it. If there's, it's the again, it's what life presents us,
Yeah.
and maybe it's because of some of the choices we've made. Okay, take a person decides to go to young person decides to go to medical school. Well, they're going to be committed to going to school till about 30.
Yeah. Right.
They're going to be in school, or
Right.
I mean, and then it's going to be till they're 40 till they start making an income. They got all these other
Yeah.
things. So I mean, it's the choices that they make. So what did
Mhm.
they do to get there? What did they
Yes.
give up? Uh,
Exactly. What were your sacrifices?
yeah, everybody has some
Yeah.
sacrifices, and you know, uh, going back to my early days, of course, I said I was 12 when I started working. At the fairgrounds, and then I
Mhm.
had the paper out. But then at the young age of 14, my dad passed away.
Yeah.
Of course, and I mean that was probably one of the more. He was sick. He died of colon cancer. He had
Okay.
had something that's 100% preventable these days.
Yes. Yeah.
Go get tested,
Yeah.
and I do too. Ever since I've been 45, I go every 3 to 5 years and
Yeah.
do the colonoscopy. So it makes a difference.
Right.
But at the young age of 14, I mean, here I was. I mean, what's going to happen to me? Of course, I got
Yeah.
a sister or whatever, and of course, I stayed with my sister, and also, but I was pretty independent even at 14. And
Right.
I'd had a job since I was 11, had income coming in, and at the age of I was 15. I got a job I lied about my age, told my 16 to get a job at the Red Ace gas station
Oh, gosh.
on 12th Avenue South. Okay.
So, like, the gas station was the place to work for
Oh
you?
yeah.
That's where you
But it
wanted to
was
go?
full service. I mean, we changed tires and we
Okay.
worked on engines and
Okay.
we checked their oil and gas and so forth. But a buddy of mine, and I had a motorcycle. My daddy bought me a motorcycle when I was 14. Because you
Okay.
could have a motorcycle when you're 14 and 10. You
Yeah.
still can, I think. So I had a
Yeah, I think
motorcycle.
so.
And so I went down there, and my buddy told me, he said, "Come down here and tell them you're 16 and get you a job." That's okay. So I go down there. They didn't ask me anything. Okay, I told them I was 16.
Okay.
Okay. So I went out, started pumping gas, washing. You go out there and you pump gas, you clean the windshield, you check the
Yeah.
oil, you check the tires, and did that. And then uh, uh, I got an opportunity to go to a new Red Ace gas station on 8th Avenue South, which is across the street from the Crystal right now. And now they're called MAPCO stations. So these were
Okay.
Red Ace gas stations.
Okay.
And at that station was the first gas station to try out self-serve gas.
Okay. So what happened to your job because you were, like, full service?
Well, yeah, well, so then I went there. I didn't have to change tires and everything,
Yeah.
but I went because there was a position to do the night shift. Okay, now
Okay.
I'm 16. Now
Wow.
I am 16 now.
Yeah.
Okay, and I
You're
have a
just going to
car.
school during the day
Going to school during the day. I'm going
and
to
working at night.
Central High School during the daytime before. Okay, Central High School before they closed down,
Uh-huh.
and uh, I would work from 9 o'clock in the evening till 6 o'clock in the morning. I got paid $13 a shift.
Oh gosh.
$13 a shift. And I got and we if we sold bulk oil, we got a nickel for every quarter of bulk oil we got. So as
Okay.
an entrepreneur.
That's it, right.
But I get up to, I mean, I go out to 9 o'clock at night, for the night time, do the night, and I wash the get a hose pipe during it was low, clean
Yeah.
the drives, go across the street to Crystal, get me a cup of coffee or walk something to eat and come back. But I'd get off at 6 o'clock in the morning, go home, eat, get on go to school, get out about 2:30, come home, go to sleep,
Yeah.
sleep till about 8, get up, eat, 8:30, go to work. I did that for about a year and a half, I guess it
Wow,
was. So,
Gunny.
yeah.
That's at 16 years of age.
Yeah, 16. I had Friday nights off and
Ah,
some Saturday nights off. Most maybe 6 days a week. And
wow.
uh, and then of course, like I told you, at the age of 17, of course, I thought I knew everything, right?
Yeah.
But I had a job, had a girlfriend, lived on. My girlfriend, I don't know if we lived on the same street. She
Okay.
lived at the top of the hill. I lived at the bottom of the hill.
Yes.
And we decided I'd get married.
At 17?
I was 17.
How old was
You know,
she?
15
Gunny.
on the 15th. That's a true story.
Okay,
We
but
married
here's the
50.
thing, everybody that's listening. You're still married to your girlfriend. And I love
I
this endearing term. And I want everybody to know this too, because you call your wife your girlfriend. And how many
Oh
years
yeah,
have you been married?
52 years.
Okay, so 52 years, you got married young. You have always referred to her as your girlfriend. And the reason behind that is to
Uh,
make her feel special, like when you were dating. I think
Well,
that's brilliant.
as I tell my buddies, I say, in hindsight, because I always have years, I'd always introduce them. Here's my girlfriend.
Yeah.
And go on about. I said, "Is this your girlfriend?" I said, "Well, yeah, well, she did marry me, but it's kind of a true story." When I first got to, it gets me in trouble every now and then.
Yeah,
But
right? The first
when I
time
first,
I heard that, I was like, "Wait, he's wearing a wedding ring. This is not good. This is
yeah,
something's wrong."
well, she was my girlfriend first, right? That marriage stuff,
Yeah,
that's just
yeah, absolutely,
it's
absolutely.
just administrative. That's just a paperwork. She's still my
Yeah.
girlfriend. But I always tell my buddies, Miss Dawn, I say, now guys, now I'm gonna tell you now, girlfriends now, they cost more money.
Oh,
You got to take them on a date. You got to write them
right.
notes. You got to treat them like girlfriend, but they're a lot more fun. And so I say, well, and if you treat them like girlfriend, and this is Gunny's opinion, is that if you start treating them like a wife, you might have some problems. After I got married, I found out wives were a problem, so I went back and got the girlfriend.
You're just we're going girlfriend. Well, so you guys are married.
Mhm.
You drop out of high school,
Yeah, I
lie
dropped out of
about
high
your
school.
age.
I'm 17. So now
Okay.
it was after I was working at the gas station all night. Then I
Yeah.
got a new job. So I worked the daytime because now I'm married, right? I'm
Yeah.
working at Warren Paint on Wedgewood, making painting and adhesives, me and a buddy and my wife's brother. And this is probably around, I don't know, July of 72, I think so.
Okay.
And after about 3 months, 2 months, uh, I'm looking around and of course I'm going to work. I'm getting there at 6, clocking in at 6:30, hit the clock.
Yeah.
9 o'clock, you get a 10-minute break. 11 o'clock, 11:30, you go off and you clock out for 30 minutes to eat lunch.
Mhm.
You go back to work, and at 2 o'clock, you get another 10-minute break. 3:30, you clocking out. And I'm looking around, and all these old guys, they got all we didn't have any, we had all this dust and stuff. There was no, uh, I guess, health and safety issues, that you didn't follow back then because there was
Yeah.
dust
Yeah.
everywhere, it was hot.
Yeah.
And I was looking around and I said, God, is this life? I was getting paid $2.13 an hour.
Okay.
Okay. And I thought, God, this can't be.
Yeah.
And I had always thought about the military. And
Okay.
so one day on September, I went down September 19th and I joined the Marine Corps.
How
And,
how
it,
did
and
that do you
I didn't tell my girlfriend because my sister had to sign for me too.
so oh my gosh, so it was just your sister that knew
Yeah,
and you?
Mhm.
Wow. Okay, so do you think that it was because your dad was in the military and you had that lens that you were looking through that you
Well,
were like,
I had always thought about it, growing up with seeing him, and earlier, I guess when I was in the fifth grade, my dad had bought me uh, uh, a set of World Book encyclopedias.
okay.
Okay, and so I'd go through and read, and I'd read about the military services and stuff. And it was that time that I said, I need to learn something else, and I knew by just talking with that I could go into the military and I could learn a career. Okay,
Yes.
not knowing that I was going to stay forever. I didn't, I thought, well, I'll go 4 years, and learn a trade or whatever. But I knew that what I was doing wasn't was not set for me.
Yeah.
Okay, at a young age. I mean, I said, no, that is not. This can't be life. And
Right.
we didn't have any kids, so I joined the Marine Corps in September 1972,
Yeah.
and I went to basic training in January, and that's what started my career. Of course, I tell people, I said, I said 17, I thought I knew everything
Yes.
until about 30 seconds after I got off that bus at Paris Island at 1:30 in the morning, and I thought for sure, Miss Dawn, I had made an error.
No.
Or, I mean,
Like, can
it
I
was
go back? I'm
mass.
just gonna stay on the bus. You take me back to where I came
It
from.
was, oh, you go ahead and get on that bus, and no, but
Mhm.
it was so much screaming and hollering. I mean, I thought
Mhm.
I heard words I'd never heard. I mean,
Ah,
goodness,
yeah.
and I was on a bus, with probably 200 or 300 young men from all over America. I
Gosh.
mean, I was with blacks, I was with uh, Latinos and Puerto Ricans and Italians from everywhere.
Yeah.
Here I'm just old Southern boy from Nashville, it's just black and white. So I ain't know
Yeah.
anybody else, as
Yeah.
far as population wise. And now I'm thrown into this mix. And I want you to know, Miss Dawn, after about 6 hours, I couldn't tell you who I got on that bus with, because by then we'd all had our head shaved.
Yes.
Everything that we owned, everything we came to Paris Island on, was put into a bag, and I didn't see it for 15 weeks. Nothing. Think the Marine Corps gave you everything that you needed.
Yeah.
Everybody had the same skivvies or underwear.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
call them skivvies. Everybody had the same boots. Everybody, even the guys who wore glasses, had the same glass. There was a black rim
Right.
glass. So I mean, everybody was the same, no hair, and uh, we were all in a fog.
Yeah. But you were
But
unified and you were
we
fast
were.
becoming that brotherhood, and I think that's
Oh,
probably
it is. Oh, it is.
what that military standard is,
The
if you
Marine
look
Corps
at
is
it.
the Marine Corps is a brotherhood.
Yeah.
It is. I mean, uh, after 15 weeks of that, your life has changed forever. It was. I
Yeah.
mean, and I'm still friends with a lot of my buddies from boot camp and early on for years. Even still today, uh, it's a brotherhood like no other.
Yeah.
And uh, you after, because I retired 21 years later.
Right?
And but I got, Miss Dawn, I tell people often come up to me and they say they appreciate my service, but I look forward to them, Miss Dawn. I say, you know what? It was a privilege and an honor. I appreciate your comments, but it was a privilege and an honor because I got to do and see and experience more than most people do in a lifetime,
Mm.
Miss Dawn.
Yeah.
And that is the truth. I mean,
That's a great
uh,
perspective, Gunny.
6 years of my 21 years was spent living in foreign countries.
Yeah.
I mean, not being a tourist. I mean, living in
No,
it.
but, like, immersed in it, like,
Yeah,
really
immersed
being.
into it. So I mean,
Yeah.
and so I would not have been able to do that. I
Yeah.
met many, and I mean, from I first, of course, Paris Island with boot camp, and I went to California for my first duty day. I think I told you, it was kind of interesting. Me and my girlfriend, right
Yeah.
here at age 17 and 16, because I finished up my basics training, or the basic school, or MOS training
Mhm.
in Memphis. And so we went back to Nashville just before I was supposed to go to California. And we packed up everything we owned in a 6x4 U-Haul trailer.
Oh gosh.
Okay, and head out on July, I think, first part of July, head out to California.
With that's your life with your life in a trailer.
That's it. Life is in the trailer. Never been across the Mississippi River.
Well, and
And
I'm
we're
just
going
gonna
across.
reiterate, your ages were 17 and 16.
Well, no, then I was 18. I turned 18 in boot camp.
Okay.
Now
And
she's
now she's
now
17 at
and
that
she's
point?
16 now.
Oh, okay. 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 She
I mean, we're
gets
getting to be old folks now.
that's young. I mean, 18 is young, 16 is young.
No cell phone, right?
Yes.
Just got enough money. We figured it out. We got enough money. How much gas going to take us? We head out to California,
Yeah.
and it takes us 4 days. We're on the fourth day, Miss Dawn. Let's see. Well, we spent the night overnight in Flagstaff, Arizona.
Okay.
Got up that morning and looking at we had the then you used the road atlas. You bought
Yes. The
to read a
Atlas.
map. And so I had to be at Camp Pendleton at 12 at midnight. Okay.
All
So I
right.
had about 18 hours to get there. Okay. So we're heading out, and my wife, my girlfriend, right? She's looking at the road atlas, and she says, we're going on 40 toward LA, and we look and says, if we cut down, I have to look at cut down diagonally, looks like we can cut off a lot of time and maybe get to us soon. I said, okay, well,
Oh
let's do
no.
it. So we did, but what we failed to read was the elevation.
Oh
It's
no.
going up and down the Rocky Mountains.
Yeah. Which took so much more time.
I took so much time, and then about halfway down, I'm starting to hear metal on the brakes. I got the trailer in the back. Okay,
Oh,
we're getting low on money, and we get low on gas, and so I
yeah.
stopped some desert town in Arizona, or no, we was in California by then, and I negotiated a guy with I had a souvenir sword that buddy gave me, and I negotiated for a tank of gas and a Coke and I think a Snickers bar,
Oh my
and we
gosh.
took that. And we got to Camp Hill. We got to Camp Hill at 10:30
You
in the
made
evening,
it just in time.
just in time. And Miss Dunn, we go to a place they call them Hostess House on base at Camp
Yeah.
Pendleton. And Hostess is like a hotel, okay,
Yep.
but it's military style. And Miss Dunn, I needed $4. I didn't have $4.
No.
So the guy at the desk, he was a retired Gunny. He said, "Okay," he said, I'm going to let you in because I know you're going to get paid tomorrow. You pay, and we'll
Yeah.
just keep you. We'll keep your girlfriend here for collateral till you come."
Till you come
Okay.
back and pay us.
So he come back there. So we must have looked like we were hungry or something. He
Oh,
asked us. He said, "When's the last time y'all ate?" He said, "Well, we had breakfast in Flagstaff. We had a Coke and a candy bar that back in I don't know what town it was, and so he had what we call a brown bag lunch. He brought uh, had a sandwich. So he gave a sandwich, cut his ham, and we shared his sandwich and a Coke.
oh,
And never will forget that. He said, "Now, when you become a gunner, you do the same for somebody." I said,
yeah.
"Okay, here I'm just a
Yeah.
PFC, didn't know everything, hair's gone, and remember, I thought I knew everything at 17. Now
Right? And in 18, you're driving cross country
I'm driving
with
across country,
very little money.
very little,
Yeah.
no cell phone, a
Yeah.
road atlas map. So
Would you do all that again? Would you do that if knowing what you know now, would you do that again and have that
oh, I don't
potentially risking
know.
that same experience?
We probably would not, but I mean, I tell people, I said, we we had a journey. We've had a journey. Me and my girlfriend, Miss Dawn, we've had a journey,
Yeah.
and maybe one lifetime may not be enough for her and I.
Yeah. Right?
Yeah. So I mean, it was uh, that was the start
Mhm.
of my career in the Marine Corps.
Yeah.
And of course, I had quit school, but in the Marine Corps, once you get in, they want you to go back to school.
Yeah.
so,
Yeah.
so 2 years later, they sent me to because I wanted to stay in. So if you had to stay in, you had to get your.
Finish your
So
high
they sent
school.
me.
Yeah.
Marine Corps had a program with the Palomar College there in Southern California.
Okay.
That you go for 6 months, you go through this program, then you take the California GED and you get a high school diploma. And I have a high school diploma from Escondido High School.
Not even anywhere close to where you grew up from. Yeah.
No, not anywhere close. It's on the road, Escondido
Yeah.
High School. So, but
Yeah.
then of course later on, then you go. It took me 12 years to get my business degree, but that's another.
Yeah.
It goes on. But
But how long were you in the military for? How many years?
21 years. I
Okay.
retired in 93 from joined in 72, retired in 93. Uh, six, like I said, uh, I had two separate tours in Iwakuni, Japan.
Okay.
Okay, which is Iwakuni is about 30 miles south of Hiroshima on the mainland.
Yeah.
Beautiful, beautiful place, beautiful people. Then I had a tour in Korea.
Yes.
Interesting place, beautiful country as well. And then I spent two tours on embassy, the back-to-back tours. I was the detachment commander of the Marine Guard Detachment at the American Consulate General in Calcutta, India.
Okay. Is
I
that
went there.
where the Imelda Marcos?
No, I went to Philippines second.
Okay.
When I was in Manila, I went to Calcutta first for
Okay.
2 years. And as I tell people, I'm one of the few white guys that speaks Hindi. आप हिंदी बोल सकते हैं memsa?
Wait, whoa,
क्या
whoa,
क्या
stop.
बात है?
What?
Said, how are you doing?
In Hindu.
How are you? Or Calvin, what time is it?
That just like rolled off your tongue with no effort whatsoever.
Oh, when you're immersed in the country, you learn you got to learn. I've been trying to learn Spanish for years, but you go into a classroom and as soon as you leave, you're speaking
Yeah.
English.
Yeah.
So, but
Doing it is a
I
big
keep
deal.
trying
Yeah.
to. India was my most fascinating country. Although
Yeah.
Japan is beautiful,
Right.
very interesting. If you ever get a chance to, I mean, it's a very different society. I
Yes.
mean, close society, but honorable people.
Right.
Honorable. They were a formidable enemy as well. World War
Yeah.
II.
Yeah. At that
But
time, yeah, there was a
I,
lot going on,
Calcutta,
right?
I think I told what in India. I mean, it's the largest English speaking country in the world.
India is?
India is the
Okay.
largest speaking. It's the largest England, and they have the most population in the world. Now they
Yes.
surpassed China a couple of years ago.
Right.
They're the let's see, they're the only country in the world that has gained its independence through peaceful means.
Okay.
Okay, they're the only country in the world that hasn't attacked another country in the last 10,000 years.
Gunny,
They
that's
have
fascinating.
they have these squabbles between Pakistan because the division
Sure.
of the country during I think 1948 when they divided the country of India. When the British relinquished control, they ruled it. But I got to go. Went to the Taj Mahal twice.
Okay.
Beautiful. I
Mhm.
mean, I went to the first time there with the advanced security team with Secretary of State George Shultz. And it's
Yes.
when have you ever heard the story about the Taj Mahal?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And why it was built? Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it took them 30, I mean,
So long.
34 years to build, and
Mhm.
it was
Yep.
built for his wife who died bearing his 14th child. So
14 kids. I can't imagine.
14, I can't believe that. But
Oh, no.
interesting place. And of course, my girlfriend got to do she did some work for Mother Teresa. Remember I told you that? And
Yeah.
uh, because of what she did Mother Teresa wrote Debbie a little note.
Oh.
Wrote Debbie thanking her for, she did some stuff, gather some clothes for her. Mother Teresa was from she operated out of Calcutta. She's a saint there.
Yeah.
And so we got to do that. And then, of course, we were there for 2 years.
Mhm.
And then I got to I was asked to take over, if I would take over the embassy in Manila, Philippines, because
Okay.
Manila, there was of course, Ferdinand Marcos of course, he was the dictator there.
Yeah.
But had an incident in October of '83. One of his political adversaries, Benigo, uh, I'm trying to think of the name. Uh, well, he had him assassinated as soon as he come off the plane. I'm having
Oh,
a
yeah.
senior moment here. But
Yeah.
Nico,
It's okay.
you know, but Nico, but I'm gonna murder this. But he had him killed before he got off the plane,
Wow.
and that was the downfall of the Marcos regime. So we were there during the downfall. So I took over the embassy in Manila, Philippines,
Mhm.
in '84, and danced with the belt. She came to our Marine Corps ball. She come on. We had not invited her, but we had it at the Manila Hotel, which she owned. It was MacArthur's
Okay.
headquarters when he came back to the Philippines uh, in World War
So
II.
she just showed up?
Oh, she just showed. She came in and she says, "Oh, I heard my American." Well, I'll back up. At the Marine Corps, there was a Marine Corps ball every year during the
Yeah.
birthday of the Marine Corps, November the 10th every year. There are balls throughout the world.
Yes.
And so we were planning ours, and the ambassador, before, as we were planning ours, because of the turmoil that was uh, unfolding in the Philippines, he had he came to me and said, "Hey, Gunny, I know we're supposed to invite, but I don't know if we ought to invite, you know, the President Ferdinand Marcos them this year." Yeah, I said, "Okay,"
Yeah.
so we didn't
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah,
invite
my goodness.
everybody else but him. So,
Right.
but so we're having a ball. It's about 600 people, beautiful ball, a big.
Mhm.
And the elder comes in because we're gonna turn her down. And she said, "Oh, I heard that my American friends were here, so I wanted to come over and say hello." Now she was entertaining.
Yes. Okay, so I think the thing that strikes me about the Imelda Marcos deal is the amount of this is such a girl moment. I'm just being such a girl right here. Is all the shoes that she owned.
Shoes.
That was
If
her
I'd
big
known, Don, if I'd known about them shoes, I'd ask her because I did get to dance with her, and a couple of my Marines got to dance with. So I would have asked for them shoes, but I didn't know they was going to be that famous.
it's a big deal. Her shoes
Oh,
were just about as famous as she was. Yeah.
oh man, she was an entertainer. She sung, she covered. She was entertaining, beautiful woman.
Yeah.
For her time, and uh, but it was his downfall. But
Yeah.
that was interesting tour because I left the Philippines and came back to the United States in '85,
Okay.
and went back to Japan in '88, and then came out. And of course, went to the Gulf War and the first Gulf War in 1991. Went to Saudi Arabia, Kuwait,
Okay.
and but I had a colorful career, but
Yeah.
I stayed 21 years. I tell people, well, because you can retire back then, you could retire at 20.
Yeah.
But Miss Donna, I stayed another year so that my oldest daughter could graduate from the same high school that
Oh,
she
just say
started.
yeah. Yeah. Oh.
Yes, she did.
No.
And of course,
Well,
I told you about my kids, right? I got my three. Well, I
yes.
tell you about that. So with my girlfriend, because we have three children,
Mhm.
and I have one daughter, she's 48, and another daughter, who's 40, and I got a son who's 32. Okay. And here's the story I tell about my family, Miss Dawn, is that uh, they're all 8 years apart, as you realize. Okay.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
Very specific.
They were all born in a leap year. Okay.
Oh,
We were married in the leap year before the first one was born.
okay.
We had one born in the '70s, one born in the '80s, and one born in the '90s.
Okay.
Oldest was born in California. My middle daughter, she was born in Manila, Philippines, and she's the only green-eyed blonde Filipino I know. And my
Right.
son was born in North Carolina. So, Miss Dawn, we have time, distance, space between each other. But
Yeah.
a lot of my buddies they ask me, say, "Well, how'd you do that every 8 years? Was that planned?" I said, "No, only the first one was planned. The
Right?
other two were nice surprises from God. God figured we need to have something else." But I told son, I tell him, I said, "Well, it was my first career. I was in the Marine Corps. I came home 3 times.
Yeah.
She says I left 3 times, but
And that's when it happened?
she don't like it when I say that.
No, probably not. I don't doubt it.
Yeah, she don't like it. But I get a good laugh out of it. So
Yes.
I have
Well,
fun.
I wanna go back just for a second back to, the Gulf War, because I think for a lot of the listeners, they will relate to that time frame and that period. And as you're nearing the end of your military career and you're going back into an explosive kind of
Oh
in
yeah.
yeah, an explosive area, if you will, or kind of an irritated area. Tell me a little bit about what that was for you being more of a leader in that military sense of the word, and having
Well,
seen so many different things with the people that were coming into the military, thinking about like you were 18 years old, and how
mhm.
that was. Give me a little bit of that snapshot for you in Saudi
Well, you know,
Arabia.
it's because you train for all that, but during the whole time when you're training for maybe any actions that you make, and and training really kicks in. Even going for now we're going into a situation where we're going into a wartime action,
Hmm.
and you get to as I tell people, you get to we got to see and experience, I guess, the best that mankind can do, but even the worst that mankind can do to each
Yeah.
other. I mean, it really it has that effect on us, especially like young guys stuff who have been in combat stuff. It uh, it changes. I mean, it gives you another perspective, and you just got to. I mean, a lot of people deal in different ways, but uh, I, my main occupation when I was in the Marine was in the crash, fire, and rescue division.
Okay.
That's what we did. Go to aircraft crash, and I'd been to crash, but some people say, well, why didn't you do that when you got out? Go work for a fire department. There was an incident in Saudi Arabia where we were responding to a mass casualty. There was a C-130 that had crashed.
Hmm.
It was about 10 miles from our camp, and me and my crew, we responded to it,
Okay.
and we pulled out 107 bodies. And
Wow.
I used every piece of equipment that I had ever trained on, being a crash, fire, and rescue. I used the jaws of life,
Oh,
K-12 saws, ropes, and I can still, I can use the crane we cut the wings and pull so we get the bodies out. I
yeah.
mean, it was the oddest crash that I'd ever been to,
Yeah.
and I say that because wow, well, it was uh, uh, an aircraft of 130, which is large. It's cargo and troop. They had troops from facilities they'd been on their pilgrimage to Mecca. The war had been over. It crashed because of the oil well fires that were started by Saddam. He started oil fires to block, and it was, I mean, daytime it was dark. We had to use
Yeah.
our headlights because of the smoke, and the smoke had obscured the field, and that's the plane for whatever reason it pancaked, it
Okay.
stalled low, and but it was
Wow.
odd that there would be one charred body in a seat, but right next to it was an unscathed Koran Bible. You know, I mean, it's
Wow.
odd. I
Wow.
mean, and then there was, I mean, it was you still, when you see those things, and just like a lot of our first responder stuff or military, when they see these things, I mean, you you always see them. I mean, I still see
Mhm.
them.
Yeah.
We had four that survived. I think that we pulled them out of the cockpit, but it was so my buddies. We get back to that.
Mhm.
Said, "You think you'll do this when you get out?" And I said, "You know what? I'm
Yeah.
not going to do this anymore." And
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
I did. I said, I just it just warmed me that I'd had enough of that. I don't want to do that anymore. And
Right.
certainly didn't want to be a first responder or anything. I mean, those are honorable professions, but
Yeah.
uh, when I pulled 107 bodies out with my other troops and using, I mean, it was a day long operation
Mm.
because they didn't have at this base, they didn't have a fire support, they didn't have rescue people. So we had to go
Mhm.
to 10 miles, and we were close ones. So it was, uh, but still, I mean, the career itself or the experience itself, when we got it, when we went into Kuwait, the people that they were glad to see us, Don.
Yes. Yeah.
They were glad. I mean, because Saddam and his uh, army there, I mean, but they were ruthless people. I mean, they were.
Ah,
I mean, uh, just again, you get to see and experience the best and the worst that mankind can do. And certainly when we got to there, I mean, they had occupied Kuwait for what 6, 7 months.
Right.
Uh, August of '90, they had occupied Kuwait, and we got let's see, the air war started around uh, oh January, and then the ground war started in February.
Yeah.
So, but,
And
different.
you were a part of both of those.
Oh yes, yes, yes. So uh, it was a uh, it was part of my experiences, Miss Dawn. So, I mean,
Yeah.
uh, so I tell people, I mean, uh, you use whatever life gives to you, right? And you
Right.
use it to uh, for a positive outcome, I guess you could say. So,
Yeah.
you know, I'm thankful for everything I've got. I'm grateful for the country that I get to live in and stuff because I've been to those other countries, Miss Dawn.
Mhm.
And especially being on embassy, I hear a lot. People these days, young people don't know any better. I
Yeah.
say is that the comment and downgrade. The only country in the world where got sports people that condemn the country that they're going for. I said, you don't hear other countries doing that.
Right.
I mean, you don't see them condemning their own country.
Yeah.
And I often tell people, I said, if you ever think this country is so bad, you have to go over there, go to Europe and live. Don't go as a tourist. Go live a while.
Right. And
Because I
really
can,
see what it is. Yeah.
yeah, because I can tell you when I was on embassy duty, is I can tell you every morning, well before the consulate doors would open, okay, that there was a line of people out there
Okay.
waiting for the doors to open so that they could come and get a visa. They were trying to come to America, Miss
Oh,
Dawn.
wow.
And you can go down to Embassy Row there in Washington, D.C., or maybe other continents, and you look at their doors before they're open. There's no one in line.
Nobody's waiting to leave.
No, they're not. No,
Yeah.
they're not. So when
Wow,
I
that's
hear
a really
people,
great perspective. Yeah.
when I hear some of the those who Hollywood types say they're they're going to leave America, I say go ahead.
Yeah.
Or some of our sports players who get paid, they get paid millions of dollars to play a game
Yeah. Yeah.
and they're
Yeah.
treated as heroes. And said, "I'll show you some heroes. I'll show you some heroes." But I mean, they're serving every day today. They're
Yeah.
out on our streets. Our law enforcement, our firemen, our military.
Right. Those
Yeah,
first responders.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's exactly right. So I mean, and they're not playing the game. They get paid a whole lot less.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So
It's the
uh,
sacrifice. It's the stuff that you talked about a while back. It's the choice, and it's making those sacrifices for something outside of yourself.
yes,
And I guess
and
that's what, like, the military has always stood for. And if I think about the people that have then lifelong military had lifelong military careers like you have, I just look at your frame of reference, your perspective as a whole, and it's extremely valuable. I think we can learn so much from the different opinions and the different
oh yeah,
experiences that we have, that all of us can hear from it,
yeah.
from each other. But knowing what your choice, I would just go back to what you've, like, the theme of this talk, this choice. It's choice.
It is a choice.
Yeah.
It is a choice, and uh, you know what? Again, we're all when it comes to our life, we're all presented when we're born on this earth. Here, here is the table that we've been given.
Mhm.
Okay, here's the table, and what we build on that table going forward, whether what our parents give us and the decisions that what we decide to put on that table or take off will make for what we're going to do down the road. And talk about, we'll go back to the sports people. I mean, I take a sports person, football player, what pro. Well,
Yeah.
they made sacrifices too. Well,
Yeah.
they
Absolutely.
played football. They did all stuff, to become an expert,
Yes.
and that's what it led to. So okay, great.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
so there are a lot of those, but it's I've had I had a colorful career, you
Yes.
know, and I had a colorful upbringing. And not the norm. I mean, I often, you know, I tell my kids, I say, you know, 'cause having a mom and a dad, I said, you know, you gotta be. I mean,
Yeah.
you gotta be fortunate. So you know, I
Yeah.
mean, having a mom and a dad,
Yeah.
because I mean, I didn't know what it was like to have a mom, but I
That's
see,
the thing. Yeah.
yeah,
You didn't
I
you
didn't know
didn't
what it was
know
like.
any different.
No,
Yeah.
and so I tell, I say, it's kind of nice, and you know, I often think about a lot of single moms, how they
Mhm.
get by. I don't know how they do it. For
Yeah.
one, because they're doing both, or single dads too. Single dads, you
Right.
know, you know, it takes two,
Mhm.
but then, well, we say it takes two, but then you know what? You can do it with one, but you
Mhm.
know, what did my dad give up? You know,
The
or
sacri
what?
you go to sacrifice. Yeah. Yeah.
And uh, it's uh, I mean, kind of, you know, we've got other leaders like that we've had, and
Mhm.
Andrew. A lot of people don't know Andrew Jackson. You know,
Yeah.
his dad died before he was born.
Okay.
Okay, okay. His mom died. Okay, short shortly after she had got him and her. Well, Andrew Jackson and his brother. They had been captured by the British. Okay,
Mhm.
and she got him out, and then she went off and was a nurse, but evidently she caught some kind of disease, and of course at
Mhm.
the age of 16, you know, and his brother died too. His brother died uh, they were from being he had got some with the two British, because the stories is when they were in the British camp, they caught some disease or whatever.
Right.
His brother died from it, and Andrew Jackson didn't. But
Right.
look where he rose to. I mean, he self-educated. You know, didn't have any. We could. There's stories like that abound.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, they're everywhere. If you turn over a rock, there's
Yeah,
there's there's somebody that has, and that's the thing I think about the podcast is that everyone has a valuable story and a valuable path that's gotten them to where they are. Whether your perspective on that path is good, you label it good, you label it bad, you put a label on it. I like to look at it. It just is what it was. It is what it
yeah,
is. It is what it
yeah.
is.
And you know, take what and make the best of it, and try to turn it into turn it into a positive attribute. Make a
Yeah,
positive difference in what you've been given.
yeah,
Uh, and you know, and I mean, certain people it may be hard, but
yeah.
life, you know, it's not supposed to be easy all the time. You know, I mean, goodness,
Right.
sometimes you have to work. You know,
Yeah, you have to work at it, and
yeah,
you have to go through it. I was just having this conversation with one of my daughters the other day. It's like it's not going the thing in front of you is not going away. You have to you can avoid it as long as you want to, or you can just get straight with it and go right through it and
yeah.
and do the work.
Make a decision, okay, go
Yeah.
forward.
Yeah.
And if it's the wrong decision, you'll soon find out.
Yeah. And if it is the wrong decision, I think the beautiful thing about that is that you can back up and do it differently. Or
Yes.
you can
Oh yeah.
learn from it
Oh
and
yeah.
make a different decision if you're faced with that situation
Yeah.
again.
Well, you know, a painter may start off with a painting and then say, "No, this is not right," and he starts from scratch and he starts over again.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you know, oh,
Yeah.
goodness, Dawn,
What, what do you think is your biggest blessing in your life so far? What has been your biggest blessing? If you had to put a, "Hey, this is it," kind of label on
uh,
it.
uh, the biggest blessing I've got many. I can say, you know, between having a great family, you know, got a
Yeah.
great girlfriend, you know, great friends. Uh, And I think that would be my greatest thing would be having uh, many friends.
Mhm.
Because you know, I mean, you can have a lot of things, but you know, if you don't have friends or uh, have the opportunity, you know, of the many things. I mean, I think about this. Is there any one thing that I could point to? I had a great dad. You know, I
Yeah.
had a good dad. I had a good sister, that did her best. I think at different times in our life, okay,
Yeah.
we have these things that, of course, I got three kids, three great kids, and great grandkids, and I got, my daughter, my oldest daughter, who's here. My other daughter's here too, but she's back on the sailboat. She's our gypsy. Remember, I told you
Okay.
back on the sailboat now. They just don't go around stealing stuff that I know
It's
of.
just different,
Okay,
right? Not your technical
but
gypsy
but
anymore.
I get to do yoga with them, on
Yeah.
a regular basis. But I still, I think I told you they got me doing yoga about 20 years ago.
Yeah. Yes, they
Okay,
did. And we're
they
glad that
did.
they did. That's how we
Yeah,
met.
I am too. Because, well, when they came to me, first they said, "Hey, Dad, won't you go to this class?" I said, "Oh, okay, what is it?" Yoga, yoga. Wait a minute, that's a bunch of women in
I'm
there.
not doing yoga. Well, I'm
I
certainly
said,
glad that you did. Yeah.
"Oh, I did well." I tell them, I said, "Well, I've been taking them to the gym with me and all that." So I said, "Well, what else could they do to me? Here I was a retired Marine. What else you gonna do?" So I go, and first couple of class, I was the only guy in there.
You're right.
But I found out that I liked it, though.
Yes. And it's very
Oh,
healthy
yes.
all
Well,
on
they
all levels.
introduced me to yoga, but I introduced them to hot yoga, though. That's
It's a whole different ballgame. That hot yoga is.
I
Amen.
got a good. They got some good studios I go to here too. Great people. Of course, my get to do it with my daughter. That's even nice.
Yeah.
And we got to do
Well,
it with my both of them when they were here, but now it's just me and Christy, my oldest. But
it just
uh,
sounds like that relationships have been so formative for you in your life, and
yeah.
such like that's a big piece, just as much as choice has been a
Hmm.
big piece in your life. Those relationships have been a big thing. And I just want to go to another step and say that it's not others forging those relationships with you. It's you making a lot of those first steps to
Oh
forge
yeah.
those relationships, which is something that I don't know that our generation we're currently in has that confidence and that ability to really reach out and
I
do.
know it's because they're on their machines. They're afraid to
Yeah.
talk. I go there. I find it sad. Uh,
Yeah.
and I was in Hendersonville last month. Me and my girlfriend was there doing some business, visiting with family. But we went to the Chop House there in
Okay.
Hendersonville. It
Uh-huh.
was on a Sunday, and there was a birthday party they was having. They had a big table strung together, and probably I bet 20 people there.
Yeah.
It had a birthday party, and most of them was all on the phone.
Oh,
And I thought, you know what? If they're here for a birthday party, they sang better, but then got back on the phone and says, they should have taken the phone, ever put the phone away, put the
yeah.
machines away,
Yeah.
and talk to one another. Is there
Yeah.
someone else on there that you would know? There's 20 people here, and
Yeah.
you know what? And I do believe that it is hard for some reason that our young generation is having a problem just reaching across and talking to one another. Or they can't talk to one another because they're afraid that they're not going to have the same opinion. We're afraid to talk to each other because they don't have the same opinion.
Yes. Yeah.
If we have different opinion, we can't talk. Well, no, you talk.
No, you
You can have
absolutely.
a
Yeah.
different opinion.
Yeah.
I
That's
mean,
where you learn and that's where you grow. Yeah.
there you go.
Yeah.
You may manage to come to something in between.
Right.
Uh, but now we it's become such a polarized. I mean,
Mhm.
it's like taking two north magnets and pushing away. We can't seem to get together, and it's
Yeah.
and the machines has a lot to it. We're in.
Yeah.
I think in let's see in China. I think if I read it right, is that they only allow the kids to be on 4 hours a day or something like that,
Yeah. Yeah.
and they
I
got
think
it
I've heard that too.
regulated.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, and I think a lot of people started, hey, you know what? Come and have put the phone down.
Mhm.
And when I go to a restaurant, I put mine down. I put it, I turn. I'm here. I'm here with you today.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
And
And
it's again, it goes right back to choice again.
yeah,
And that's
yeah,
hard for that's really I mean, and I don't want to be assumptive here that everybody can just readily make those choices, because I think a lot of it depends upon where you came from. It depends upon what your background is, what your triggers are, and the things that have happened to you along the way. So
Right.
I think there's a big piece of that. But I think that for me, this valuable piece in our conversation is that if we go back to your formative years and you didn't have what a lot of people now have, and you were still able to make those choices, there was some, even just a little bit of light in there was
Mhm.
made, made enough light, made enough space for you to make a choice that um, was a positive, and
Yeah.
that was something that you said earlier is about, making a difference, being reaching out, being kind to other people, and you don't really know what kind of days they're having and what
Yeah.
they're in the middle of and what they're going through, and how valuable, like the receipt that you wrote at that restaurant,
Yeah.
how valuable that is for someone to still be carrying around years later.
I say I do it. Just practice. Just write on the note back, and don't worry about it. Just leave it on there. I really thank you for your time,
Yeah,
and you've been you've made my stay great. First time stay here or whatever.
yeah,
And I got there because I remember I asked her what their name was, and it's on the ticket. And leave it, but uh, I try to do that on a regular basis. Get right on the back of the receipt. Say I
yeah,
appreciate. A lot of times they'll write on thank you.
yeah,
Or thank you. It's
yeah,
a pleasure serving you. Well, I write them back. Okay.
yeah. And I think too, no matter where our circumstances have brought us to and why we're in those roles that we're in, those are some very simple things that I think all of us can feasibly do, no matter what our trauma, if you will, has been from the past, no matter what you've seen in battle as a soldier, no matter what you've seen in battle as a parent, in battle as a spouse,
Yes.
in everything, in any role that you're in your life in. Yeah, for sure.
Well, I've been we've been married for 52 years, but it wasn't always a honeymoon. We had
Yeah,
struggles and challenges, just like any couples do.
yeah,
But you just got to work through them. Okay, you got to be willing to work through because you know what? If you there are some that they probably need split sheets, but there are other if you just work at it. I
mhm,
tell them, I said, you got to go back and remember what was the reason for you getting together. What caused
yeah,
you to like that person so much that you wanted to have a baby with them or get
yeah.
married and all that stuff. Maybe go back and remember what that was. Or go back and get the girlfriend.
Yes, get the the girlfriend. Oh,
Hey,
I love
the
that.
first ring, start writing them. I often tell my buddies when I tell them that story, I said, look, go home, go bring them some flowers, not just on Mother's Day or the birthday, impromptu, or write them a little note, leave them a little note before you leave for work. Say, hey, write them a little love letter. Hey, I can't wait to see you tonight, or
Yeah.
whatever. And I ask, I say, I think you'll see a change in your life.
Yes, yes, it makes a difference. It makes a
Yeah.
difference.
So,
Absolutely.
okay.
Absolutely.
And,
Gunny,
uh,
you
that,
are
that's Gunny's opinion.
well, okay. And here's where Gunny's opinion is Gunny's opinion, but again, we're gonna go back to we all can learn from everybody. So
Yes, ma'am.
I think it's brilliant. I've loved talking to you today. This
I
has been
love talking to
great.
you, Miss Dawn. Goodness gracious, good to see you. And miss having your classes, but I know you're doing them. I see you on Facebook. When I get on there every night, I see that beautiful crew of yours. I say, oh, she
Oh,
is busy. But if you ever come to the Greenville area, holler at me in the Soul Yoga Studio, Soul
okay.
Power Yoga Studio. Great. They have two of them, two studios. Great teachers. Just like we had at Hot Yoga Plus. Goodness gracious, but there was a
Oh,
bunch of overachievers with them. You
well,
know that.
I'll jump right in there. I feel
Yes,
like I
ma'am. Oh,
fit
yeah.
right
You know you are. Goodness gracious. I
I
had that
used to
look.
like anybody that's gonna go into a room that's heated up to almost 100 degrees or a little above 100 degrees is probably, "Ooh, we're a little bit
Yeah.
yeah,
I know. I know. I had a class last night. And it was hot, and I looked. They got a temperature thing on, and it was 99. I said, "Oh yes, we were sweating."
It's
It was a power flow class too. I like the
yes,
power flow class.
it's the movement, it's good.
Yeah,
Hey,
I got
before we
that.
go, can I just entertain you with some rapid fire questions
Yes, ma'am.
just for some fun?
Sure.
Okay. Just so that people can get another side of your personality. I think we've
All right.
we've learned a lot and seen a lot about you, but let's go another direction if we could.
All right.
Okay,
You
you ready?
I'm on it. I'm ready. Okay.
Okay. All right. So, number 1, prior to the military, and you already said this, what was your first job? Your very first job? Was it the cutting grass or was it delivering
Cut,
papers?
cutting grass, and working at the Fairground Speedway. I did that both same time.
And that was at 8 years old when you started?
No, no, that was at I was 11
Okay. 11.
in South Nashville.
Got it. Got it. Was that one of
Uh,
your favorite jobs? What was your favorite job before you joined the military?
and see, my favorite job was working at the gas station. I
Okay.
really enjoyed it. Yeah, because I learned how to work on cars, and you meet people,
Yeah.
greet people, and at their names, you washing their windshield. You let me check your oil, check your air filter. We would change the air. We did a lot of stuff before. Check their tire. Well, you need a new set of tires. Okay, put a new set of tires on.
That's
So
crazy.
I can still, a flat tire. I still know how to do. I can still plug a tubeless tire. I've done it many times.
There you
So
go.
it was it was a good trade to learn at an early age because you interacted with people. I often tell people, especially young kids, a good first job is working in the pub, working at a McDonald's. I think
Yeah.
uh, see, Christy, she started working at McDonald's.
Okay.
Okay, that was one of her first jobs.
Yep.
And Heather started working at Baskin Robbins. That was one of her first jobs there in Henderson. So it's working, interacting with the public. That'll teach you a lot.
Yeah, buddy. I
Yes.
remember having a gig that was in retail and, oh, oof.
And I did tell you, that I did tell you that when I came, I had learned how to bartend in Calcutta, India. And when
Okay.
I came to the United States back in '85, I started moonlighting as bartending
Yeah.
there in Eastern North Carolina until I retired. And actually, when I came back to Nashville in '93, I worked as a bartender
Okay.
until
All right, Gunny.
I figured I was lost when I first retired from Marine Corps.
Yeah.
I was 39 years old, and I'd been in the Marine Corps for 21 years, and
Yeah.
the hardest decision I had to make after I retired the next morning, I had to decide on what I was going to wear, Miss Dawn. I had a uniform of the day. I had to go shopping
Yeah.
for
You're
clothes.
like, "I don't have any clothes. What do I do here?" Yeah.
What do I do? So yeah, it
All
was.
right. All right, you
That
ready for
was
the next question?
yes, ma'am.
Ready for that next one? Here we go. What is I know the answer to this one too. Tell us about your favorite type of workout exercise routine. Is it running? Is it boxing? Is it hot yoga?
Hot yoga and boxing.
Okay. It's
Yeah,
combo.
yeah.
Yeah.
It is. Because I ran for years. I
Mhm.
ran many half marathons, one marathon.
Okay.
I ran, I think, 2002. Me and two other buddies, man, we ran the Music City Marathon there in
Yes.
Nashville, and that's
Very
a tough
hilly.
course. That's a tough course.
Yeah, very
And
hilly.
I remember we had trained in the winter, and I had icicles on my beard. It was dark then.
Oh
Right,
gosh.
man.
I don't
But
doubt it.
we got out there at Centennial Park that morning, and it was like 70 degrees, not a cloud in the sky.
Yeah.
It was a warm day, and we
Yeah.
got out to the halfway point out to Maxwell House, and it
Yep.
was 82 degrees.
Oh,
Oh me!
and
But
you're like,
that was the only
"Out of
marathon I did. But
sugar?"
I found out that running marathons, you have to train for that. I
Yes.
mean, it's serious training.
And you gotta
That
train
time.
up here. It's between the ears. A lot of it is between the
Yeah.
ears.
Well, I did a lot of half marathons, and I did half. I've done training run as little as 3 miles of still make, but you can crawl 13 miles.
Mhm.
But if you're gonna go 26, you better train or get you a ticket for a bus. So, that's my opinion. But
There you go.
I tell you, I love it. Love doing yoga, hot yoga, flow classes, and boxing.
Okay.
Uh, I got a heavy bag and a speed bag in the garage.
I love it. I love it. When I visit sometime in that area, I'm gonna have you teach me how to do the speed bag.
When you go to 9 rounds,
Okay.
9 rounds.
Yeah.
They got the little studios throughout the.
Yeah.
That's a go. Got 30-minute routine. They got a speed bag routine you
Okay.
teach. Or
That's what I wanna learn, right?
they got
That's
a
not
UFC club in in Hendersonville that I used to go to, they had the heavy, but I tell you, 50 minutes on a heavy bag, as I tell you, you know
It's a workout.
it.
Yeah. No, that will get you.
It's a
Absolutely.
workout, but I love speed bag uh is mesmerizing.
Yes.
It's good, but of course hot
Alright.
yoga. You know, I said tell you yoga is
Yep.
something you do all your life.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
even I'm almost 70 years old, and I still get out there. And I can hang with the young ones. Not as hard, but I keep moving. So Miss Dawn.
That's the key to life. Keep on moving.
Yes.
Keep on moving. All right, last question for you today. What is your most strongly held belief?
Oh, those strongly held belief that my strongly held is that would be is that I expect that I'm going to have problems,
Mhm.
but I'm going to expect to solve them.
Okay. Yeah.
You know, I got probably have a lot, but that's when you can start something. You can, okay, I got a problem, but I think I can stop solve it. Uh, that would be one. Is I'm trying to think, can I narrow down to just the most strongest belief? Uh,
Absolutely.
it's that uh, I think for the most part, people have good in their heart.
Mhm.
You know, there's always the 10 percenters. Okay, there's always
Mhm.
10% of a society that doesn't want to be nice, or they don't want to conform to rules and guidelines. Whatever. So I already know that I'm going to come up with there's going to be 10%. So
Yeah.
uh, if I come across somebody, well, I'm glad I got rid of that. So my next 90, my next 9 people I'm going to meet are going to be nice or whatever.
Okay.
So I mean, a lot of different. I mean, I've had a lot of influences,
Mhm.
Miss Dawn, to characterize maybe my belief system, or
Mhm.
I do need to try to make a friend every day, or
Right,
make a
right.
new
You said
friend
that.
every
Yeah.
week.
It's a good I
Yeah,
like that one. Yeah.
and
Reaching
because
out. Yeah.
yeah, you got to reach out, and you got to be willing. You know, when you go to the restaurant, or you go to or something, you know, ask the person their name. What
Yeah.
what's their name? Or like when I'm in a yoga, right? When I get ready to do hot yoga, and sometimes I like her. We get mat to mat, and I tell them this. So if I don't know, so I ask, well, what's your name? We need to know who's sweating on each other, right?
Yes.
You know,
Get to
and I
know those
always,
people.
yeah, and I always tell them is that, say, if you need to flip your dog, you can always use my mat. Don't worry about it.
That's perfect. Perfect. I love it. Oh,
Yeah.
Gunny, you are awesome.
You got to break the ice, you know. So be willing to approach them. If they don't want to be approached, you'll know. But then the ones that don't at first, I work on them.
Like, I'm not giving up.
Yeah, keep on, and eventually you get a smile that
Yeah.
okay that you've broken through.
Yes. Yes. I love it. Gunny, so good. So good. Thank you so much for all of
You
your
are
insights, for your story, for sharing parts of your life that are so, so beautiful, and your philosophy, your perspective, your MO on excellence. Right? I
well.
love
I
it.
appreciate your time. Good to see you, honey, and
Oh, yeah. That was
best with your podcast. Love listening to you, and if I can be of any help, you have my numbers, and
well, you're
you,
awesome. I
you and that crew of yours, you got a beautiful crew. Give
Aw,
my best to your other half,
I will.
and you tell them Gunny says hello.
I
And
will. Thank
if
you,
you
Gunny.
put
Have a great day, okay?
all right, take care, Miss Dawn.
Alright, thanks, man.